What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. In today's episode, I'm going to break down all of my trades from the morning. I'm sitting in the green, up $25,630.73. The cup is half full, the cup runneth over. Or do it. No, the cup is not half full. The cup is not full. The cup is barely a quarter full because today I peaked at about $86,000 on the day and then gave a lot of it back. Man, this is very similar to what happened yesterday. Yesterday, if you tuned into the recap, you know that I actually went up over $185,000 on the day before giving back $100,000 and finishing the day a little over 80,000. Now, 80,000 is still a great day, but it felt kind of like this yesterday. You know, it's like, well, yeah, 80 is good, but that 180 was sure a lot better. And today, 25 is good, but, you know, being back at 85 would have been a lot nicer. So is there a lesson to learn? There is. And so let's go ahead and jump onto the screen share and let's start breaking that down. So we had a lot of volatility yesterday. We had a lot of volatility today. QMMM, this stock went up, 2,000% yesterday. We had CWD that went up 2,000%. The day before, we had OCTO that went up 5,700%. I mean, we've been seeing these big moves back to back. So huge swings in the market. But what's interesting is that our big moves on Monday and Tuesday were tied into crypto. After hours yesterday, there was some momentum, and WLDS was one of the stocks that caught a little bit of attention. They posted their earnings after hours. They had earnings. I'm sorry. I think maybe I'm mistaking this one for a different one. They definitely had a patent, but let me just check because I thought they had earnings that were out yesterday after hours. Wednesday, no, Tuesday. Yeah, it was the first half financial results. So in any case, so it started popping up after hours. It pulled back, and then this morning it rallied from 2 all the way to 11. And I'm the schmuck that's red on it. Can you believe it? I was green $30,000 on this stock, and then I flipped from green to red in one epic fail. Just a terrible trade. So we definitely have to talk about that trade. But let's kind of start by talking about maybe my first trade of the day and kind of what I was looking at when I sat down. So because the stocks that have been the strongest in the last couple of days were stocks that were tied into the crypto space, whether it was a crypto treasury strategy or something similar, I was looking for that type of setup today, which made sense. You kind of pay attention to the theme and then you want to trade what's on that theme. So the first stock I traded today was actually ASST, and I made $20,000. Boom. First trade right out of the gates. Not bad. That was buying right here at $14 for the break of VWAP, and it squeezed up to $16 a share. Not bad. My hope was that it would hold 16 and we would continue back towards 20. I was a little cautious with that topping tail from pre-market, but this did have news again after hours yesterday. But continued this morning, at least for a little bit before pulling back. So that was my first trade of the day, focusing on a crypto name. All right, so got myself in the green. That was good. Second trade of the day was on Camp. Now, this one threw me off a little bit because it's a big move, and it went from $2 to $7, but it's biotech therapeutics company. So I thought, does this really, it feels like it's a little off theme. But man, this thing went up 300%, whatever it was. It was incredible. So I ended up not trading it very early in the move. I got myself a little frustrated on this one because we'll look at the 10-second chart. So back this up here a little bit. So I ended up taking my first trade on it, not in this move here. It pulled back, but when it came back up, and it wasn't here. It actually wasn't here. I waited. And I was looking for, let's see, where was my first trade? I'm sorry, it was at 708, and I got in at 618. So 708, where's that? So it was right down, oh, that's right down here. So I got in right down here, and I was looking for that curl and the breakthrough the 750 high. But that didn't really work. So I ended up making $2,800 on it, which put me up 22,800 on the day approximately. But, it didn't really work. And then it broke this ascending support line, which I had already drawn. So when it came down to it, I was like, it has to hold. And if it doesn't, and it didn't, and it dropped. So then that was it on camp. And I thought, all right, well, but I didn't think it was going to really work out super well anyways. It doesn't surprise me. So then the next stock was GLE. So GLE ends up hitting the scanners. And this is a stock that made a big move at 6:30 in the morning. It dips down and then it rallies back up here. So the way I traded this one was, again, being fairly aggressive. So around, let's see, where was it? So we had this initial pop up here at 7:45. I did not trade that. It pulled back, popped up, dipped down, and I got in right here. And I was looking for this squeeze higher. And so we got a move here from about 320 all the way up to about 360. Dipped down, came back up. So I was trading it right in this range here and looking for the break over this line and then the squeeze back to this high. And then I was looking for pre-market high. Didn't quite get it, but still locked up $9,432.42. So green on GLE. So it's 815. So now I'm up $35,000 on the day. I'm like, all right, here we go. And then CWD comes along and I made 13,000 on that, which put me up 43,000 on the day or 48,000, whatever it was. So now I was like, the day is really coming together. Where did I trade CWD? I did not trade it on this setup here, but I did trade it on this setup here, getting in for the break at 12 and it went to 1350. So nice trade right there on that breakout. That was also a 5-minute bull flag. The first one, which I missed, and then the second one, which I traded. So now I'm up 45,000, whatever it was on the day. Feeling really good. So then PTNM hits the scans and it pops up. Excuse me. So PTNM pops up. It's continuation from the previous day. So I jumped in and jumped out in this area and just had a very small trade on it. Ended up making $2,500. So 50,000 or so on the day. All right, so that's good. And then WLDS starts curling. And so on WLDS, it starts squeezing up, as you could see right through here. So we'll get this kind of dialed in. It goes up to 350, it pulls back, it pops up to 4, it pulls back. And I ended up jumping in it right here at about 450, getting in high, no doubt, and taking profit as it broke over 5. So that's my first trade, in and out. Then it rallies back up through 550, I add back. And at this point, now I'm starting to size up. And we got this big squeeze up to a high of 8. It dips down. And then we got this move here up to 10. So I ended up making about $35,000 or so on WLDS. And I'm going to pull up the 10-second chart here for a second. Well, actually, before I do that, so I made $35,000 on it before my losing trade, which gave back all the profit. And while I was trading that, that was 9:06. I was still keeping an eye for the possibility of breaking news on a stock that would have a crypto headline. And I saw RBNE post this headline of completing initial Bitcoin allocation. And so when that headline came out, I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. A crypto catalyst. This is what I was looking for. And so this was at about 9:11. I jumped in it with 25,000 shares for the break of 3. It drops and I took kind of a big loss on it. About $5,000, $7,000. So I take this bigger loss right here and I'm like, gosh darn it. And then I look back over to WLDS, which was on my side chart, and I realized that I had just missed this setup for the break of 10. So let's back this up. So right here we had a pop, which I traded, then it pulled back, and right here is where I was trading RBNE. And then this goes right here, it pulls back, it pops through 9, it goes to 10, and I switched over and I saw it at 10 and I clicked the buy button right here and I ended up filling at 1040, about 1045. Hits a high of about just under 11. And then this candle, it drops to 920. I'm down over $1 a share. And here it goes down to 860. And I was like, is this going to bounce? And it didn't. And I took the loss. And it was about a $65,000 loss. So I went from green, 35,000 on it, to red, and you can see I'm down 28,000 on this stock. What a haircut. I mean, well, so what did I do wrong? I lost my focus. If I had stayed focused on WLDS and not gotten distracted with RBNE, I wouldn't have missed this setup right here, this nice little clean setup, and I wouldn't have needed to chase it at such a bad spot. On the other hand, sometimes you get distracted. Why did I chase? I think it was a little bit of fear of missing out, frustration that I had just gotten kind of kicked in the teeth with a loss on RBNE. And then this thing is working. I picked the wrong one. So then I switch gears real quick and jump in this thinking, here we go. Based on the action we've been seeing, I mean, I had taken some high entries on it already and it had worked pretty well. So I was feeling confident and yeah, it was not a good trade. So, that's kind of, it's disappointing. I mean, look, it is. It's a bummer to lose $60,000, $70,000 in one trade. And the problem for me right now is that it's going to be a bigger loss for the month of September. And even though I've been maintaining decent accuracy, look at this, the average winners. I mean, I'm green on everything except for one stock, but that one that I'm red on is a big loss, much bigger than a lot of these, smaller wins. So my average losers are bigger than my average winners right now. Now, I did get a couple nice winners, but, in total, it's been a bit of a challenge. So that's just something that I need to be aware of. We're trading in a highly volatile market. Yes, I'm hitting some big wins, but I'm also catching some big losers. And so if I'm going to continue to trade with big size, then the numbers are going to be big. I'll be up 185,000, lose 100K off the top. Up 75, 80,000, lose 50,000 off the top. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. And that's kind of the reality that I'm in right now. So at this point, I'm going to continue to trade pretty aggressively as long as we're seeing stuff moving because net, I'm making money, right? At the end of the day, I made $86,000 yesterday. Yeah, I gave back 100K off the top, but I still had 86,000 more than I had at the beginning of the day. Today, I've got $25,000 more money than I had 5 hours ago. So I would say that's a success. Now, you could nitpick and say, you gave back too much, this and that, and I don't disagree with you. You're right. But is there something I should be doing differently? Someone said, Ross, what if you stop trading when you're up a certain amount? I said, no, I don't want to cap my winners. A day that it's working, I need to keep going and try to squeeze as much as I can out of that day. And typically, it's not what typically happens, and I'm up 75, 80,000 and I lose 60, 70% of it. That's pretty rare that happens. It's happened 2 days in a row. So what's going on in this market right now? It's extremely volatile. My mistakes yesterday were on higher price stocks. My mistakes today were more getting distracted. And we did have dispersed attention today because WLDS was not a crypto stock. And so it was like, it's going up, but it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. And so I think we were all kind of looking for the one. And in the meantime, just sort of trading this. But then we never really got the one. Now, it's only 11 a.m., so maybe we will still. But in any case, this is where I'm sitting here, $25,630.73. Easy come, easy go. You live and you learn. And I'm grateful to be, locking it up in the green. And I'll leave to trade another day. I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning, streaming at 7 a.m. And you guys are getting a heck of a show because we are just seeing incredible momentum. So if you haven't already checked out the 2-week trial, link is pinned to the top of the comments. 2 weeks for $20. A lot is going on in the market, so I think you'll enjoy it. But remember, as always, please be cautious. Be thinking about risk. My results aren't typical. Practice as simulator before you put real money on the line and take it slow. All right, so with that, I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.